which of course
makes
is
a
the
big
case.
difference.
It does make a big difference. Of course, that changes things with ordering from the Russian or Ukrainian armourers.
There are some armourers that are supplying kits for as low as about €1,000 as a starter kit.
That's right, yeah. That's right. Those are very, very good quality things. And they're Polish, aren't they?
Yeah. But, you know, the average price for a harness is around about the £1,500 mark. I mean, you've got to look at, you know, the padding that goes underneath it.
That's right, yeah.
And then customising the padding inside your helmet, because that's really important.
Yeah.
You know, so about £1,500 or €1,500 would be a good entry point, I think, for a harness, which isn't that expensive when you consider that, you know, some people spend $3,000 on a push bike. You know, a set of hockey harness is also going to be, you know,
that's right,
hundreds of dollars. So, you know, for the cathartic value of being able to smack someone in the face with an axe, I think it's well worth the price.
Absolutely.
I mean, of course, you can spend ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, there's guys who are spending up to $10,000 on a harness.
That's right, yeah. Well, we saw, of course, the fight for China beforehand, who had that full plate.
Beautiful Maximilian titanium kit.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of work going into to work titanium into those shapes is just mental. And it's ridiculously light, about 12 kilos, I think I was. I think the guys told me it weighed. You know,
standard weight for the full armour. I mean, you're looking at a good 30, 35.
Oh, no, a good competition harness, you know, you can optimise down to around about 23, 24 kilos.
For the harness?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I beg your pardon.
Probably the heaviest element will be the helmet.
Yeah.
But some of the duels fighters, I remember when I first started getting into this, I had one Russian tell me that, you know, a good duel fighter, if he's wearing anything more than 15 kilos, he's wearing too much.
Right. Of course, I mean, they have they require less protection.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about the backs of the legs. They can put lighter plates on the back because you're never going to get hit from behind.
Yeah.
You know, so you can skimp on weights there. I remember talking with Lucas Cowell at one point. He was upgrading his upper arm harness.
Right.
He was replacing them so that he can save 200 grams.
Wow. That's so little.
So the guys who are hardcore into their dueling, they're really going to optimize everything down to the barest minimum they can.
Yeah.
I think he was going from a 1 mil upper plate to an 800. To a 0.8 mil upper plate. No, it was 0.8 down to 0.5 in hardened steel. So it's ridiculous the amounts of optimization you can get to in this sport. In the group fights, you really don't want to get down to that. You can optimize to a certain extent, but when you're having to deal with halberds from behind and two-handed falchions and things, you really don't want to skimp.
No, of course.
They've been making great inroads into the Authenticity Committee have been making great inroads into specifying how harness can look and still maintain its protective qualities. For a number of years, we saw a trend for rondelles or discs on the backs of aventails, the mail on the bottom of the helmets there, just to protect the spine and the joint between the head and the upper back.
Yeah.
But frankly, it didn't look particularly great. And there were some fighters who were taking the rondelle fashion just ridiculously far with about 7 or 8 extra plates elsewhere.
That's true, yeah.
So a lot of this year they've made a specific effort to tell people you can have additional plates on your aventail. They have to be hidden though.
That's right.
You definitely have to have a solid metal plate protection for the back of the neck though.
With the right helmet, you can have a lobster tail, which I find a lot more protective than a rondelle. I mean, rondelles were much of a muchness, really.
They were a quick and dirty fix to a small problem about, you know, mail is great at stopping cutting edges, it's rubbish at stopping crushing force, and that's what this sport is all about. So, you know, to get a quick fix, people were taking a rondelle, which used to be previously used on the hands for fingered gauntlets.
That's
most people are switching to mittens.
They fly off everywhere.
But yeah, they're just held on with a lace, and they'll get.
You appear to have a rondelle on the back of that Central Polish fighter, however.
He does too.
Which seems extremely strange, considering it has to be hidden by the mail itself. So it seems strange that it's caught under that.
In the duels, there was I think it was the Czech fighter actually had to have his removed because it's against the rules now. So once again, this constant evolution of improvement, and they get quite strict about it.
Well, we see now France versus Poland in the final quarter-final. So all the other semi-final positions decided, and Poland are going to face the four matches of the French, and they're slightly pushing them back. So, well, not so much aggression shown from the French at this point. Still a bit tentative.
One of the Polish axemen there trying to pull a French axeman trying to pull a pole into his own line so he can get taken down, but lost his axe instead, so had to go back and get a reserve.
I think that Polish fighter down there actually lost his footing.
Yeah, I think he was pulling on somebody and just, when they let go of the halberd, he just fell on his bum.
That's it.
Bit of clever thinking by the French fighter in that case.
Yes, exactly. And of course, it's perfectly legal to hold the non-striking part of the weapon, which is...
yes, so you can't grab a blade, but you can grab the wooden haft of a halberd or an axe.
Which is logically where you would hold anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to stick your hand in the way of the flying head. No. Actually, that's another rule that has changed recently. In previous years, if you raised your hand palm up, that was a signal that you had, you were withdrawing from the fight.
Yeah.
But there were a number of instances where, incoming weapons had actually struck the unarmored palm of a fighter, and it's just too dangerous. So they've actually removed that rule. Have to take a knee if you can.
Yep.
So either take a knee or take a pounding.
Well, that's it. Yep. Choice is yours. And still very close. A lot of these French fights have taken quite some time. Very cautious approach they have.
And both teams were very evenly matched here. France have been really progressing quickly. They've made similar sort of strength gains as UK have as well. Poland have always been a good team, and it used to be that Poland would just roll over the top of any other team in front of them, like the Russians and the Ukrainians. But it's good to see that the French have stepped up their game significantly over the last couple of years. And both of these teams are teams that are fielding pretty much all their own individual nationality. I don't think they teamed up.
Though there are a few Dutch fighters for the French
Dutch
team.
for the French, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Of course, they were part of the UK team in the 21s last year, who won the bronze medal.
You can see the blue and yellow aventail there of one of the Aquilia guys.
And the Polish, it looks like the Polish fighters.
Oh, nice! That's the ninja. Good. You can't let him run around.
And the Polish do actually have some Danish mercenaries and also Czech.
Ah, well, in that case, I've been completely lying to you all. Sorry about that.
Well, there's a lot of Polish fighters standing, however, and a number of French fighters who've tried to break through, as you can see further down the list. Evidently to no avail.
Bit of a standoff again. I think this fight might actually go down to the timer. There we go.
Yeah, I think that's it. Is that the 5 minutes?
Yeah, I think that... Oh, hang on, no, there's an injured fighter in the middle.
Yeah, of course.
It's like he's taking his own helmet off, so I don't think the injury's that bad. Or not head and neck related, anyway. No, he's getting to his feet. That's all good. Medics checking some other fighters on the far side of the list there.
Yeah.
We were complimenting this medic team yesterday in the 12s. They're always very good. These guys are, they're almost fearless. They'll run out into the middle of the combat.
Well, that's it. Well, they're a search and rescue team, so I've been in many difficult situations.
And they're really fast to getting that response.
Fast,
I've been to some events where you have to call for a medic, and many times before you can get a medic anywhere near there, and they're effectively a first aider.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys are much more experienced and just ridiculously fast at getting people on and off fields. Look at that. He's on a stretcher. He's carried off. Good job, guys. It's such a narrow gate to get a stretcher through. Doesn't look too distressed.
Well, it seems quite dazed.
Yeah.
Fighter.
All that needs is a caption for little Tweety birds floating around.
So the fight will resume.
Still really evenly matched. A lot of fallen weapons on the floor. They're just as much of a trip hazard as a fallen body.
That's true, yeah. Well, those harbours can be very hazardous. It's very tense between these two teams, not giving any space away, but
it's not often you see that as almost a metre between the two lines. It's almost exclusively halberds currently being deployed.
Of course, only the Polish fighters, of course, are having any impact there. The French fighters with their swords and boards need to be really in close quarters with them.
Almost a testament to how many halberds are being used. You see how many broken halberds there are littering the ground between the two.
Yeah. I think the halberd merchants, of course, and the armourers just behind the list. They must be doing pretty well this weekend.
They must be. I mean, one of the problems, of course, of the team, and we've seen it in previous years, is it comes to a later stage and they just run out of halberds.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It puts them at a huge disadvantage. The thing, of course, is that rehafting a halberd head is a pretty quick, easy process.
Yeah, that's true. What a breakaway there from a Polish
a couple
fighter.
of Polish fighters managed to break through that line, and I think here we go.
We'll see a big shift in the demeanour of the fight. It's all broken up.
Wow, 4 French fighters trying to deal with that one Polish runner.
Dealt with him now, but
Frenchman goes down there.
it's time. I think the Polish
They still haven't dealt with that runner. He's still back there, struggling on. And finally he goes down.
But the line seems to have been broken, but the French are repositioning themselves to the line.
There's that French ninja almost managing to get that throw.
Yeah, a lot of support for Poland here from the crowd. They certainly know their favourite.
Yeah. Poland would need that support, looking at the numbers now.
Well, I think it's a matter of time, although this round has gone on for some time already, so...
Yeah, still in round one, it's unusual.
Yeah.
Oh, stop fight. Marshall called it. May well have got to that 5-minute mark.
Well, I think France there certainly take the first round. You can see how much they maintained that line for such a long time of the fight.
There was a Polish fighter at the back there whose visor was up as that fight started.
Really?
Bang in the middle, visor up, clear as day, face very, very visible.
It's just far too dangerous.
We can spot that again in the replay. I'll point it out to you. I almost did a double take. I couldn't believe what I saw.
Again, great aggression from the French, but these Polish fighters, they can really withstand quite a lot. And then, of course, you have Jan,
tough team.
the Prague troll.
I think I've also seen a few of the Brotherhood in amongst the Polish ranks for this fight.
That's right, yep. They've got the mercenaries from the Czech Republic and Denmark. And it's a good defensive work from that Polish fighter. There's the French ninja striking down.
That Polish fighter that's desperately holding on to the French ninja, not allowing him.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, it's wise. They know who to hold on to, and I think that's a number of things that people need to do. You have teams such as the Ukraine team, the Russia team, where they are more evenly matched. But when you get those guns, let's call them, in teams, as we saw with China, likewise with France, I really need to hold them back, and to an extent also the UK.
Our French Russian counterpart over there doing a great job there on the Russian live stream. And French substitutes now getting into round 2. Oh, there's a yellow card there for Poland.
Well, not sure that was 4, but maybe our resident marshal here could go down and ask the marshals what the yellow card was for.
The ever-present roaming marshal we can call upon.
Yeah, we're going to get more of these every time.
Yeah, we really do. French being counted, Poland equally lined up to be counted. I think we're probably going to get round 2 underway fairly soon. And a huge amount of nasal or wolf rib helmets now amongst the French fighters.
Yeah.
Significantly more than last year from the looks of things.
Yeah.
Whereas you see a bit more of a variety in amongst the Polish team. The Klappersvor has always been a firm favourite of a lot of the Polish fighters.
Yep. Interesting to see a wolf rib with 4 bars there instead of the regulation 5. Well, there might have been a lower bar just by the chin. I'm not quite
potentially.
sure.
We couldn't quite see in that glimpse there. The Knight Marshal there in the centre. The Polish and the French are both spreading out now to commence round 2. Here we go, round 2.
And I think this all started much the same way as the last fight. The Polish fighters tend to keep a distance. You can see some very long pole arms to the French there. Look at that.
That's very wise, using those at the back.
There were a couple of, 3 or 4 very lengthy pole arms.
Yeah, the Polish just can't quite match the range.
Yeah, they've got those 2-handed axes, but I mean, you still need to be fairly close.
Yeah, the French halberds look to be easily a good sort of 7 foot because they're a full foot taller.
Yeah. Now, just a rapid update from our resident martial runner. The Polish fighter received a yellow card for a strike to the foot, which of course is a lot of fighters in any case choosing to use sabatons to protect their feet, although of course it's not obligatory.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wise move. I mean, not just because of, blows aimed at the legs glancing off and hitting the foot.
Yeah.
But also, if you were trying to do a leg sweep on an opponent with a full enclosed greave and you slightly miss at the top of your foot on a steel greave, from experience, it really hurts. A couple of French fighters down there on their right. That Polish fighter has broken. He's quickly dispatched.
And still, even I wonder if we'll see the break like we did last time.
Yeah, they say we've got a few fighters down on both sides now. There's still no clear advantage to either one.
But in any case, even if it does come to a timeout, it favours France. Yeah, you can see that move there. Seems only to have 4 bars.
Those one's going to go down behind the French line.
And then a few fighters on the other side have been taken down also. No break.
Yeah, we're now seeing a couple of longer halberds appear in the Polish line. Guessing they've realised they need to go back and rearm. Of course, you can do if you have a spare. You can always just go back to your line, swap it over.
Yep. Well, a lot to feast your eyes on at the moment, but for obvious reasons, neither side wanting to give anything away, especially not at this point, because the winner has the last place in the semi-finals. And one slight mistake could prove very costly, and Snow wanting to start or initiate that early burst.
Well, that French line suddenly surged forward a little bit there.
Yeah, may see it tilt a little bit. I think the French are going to try and break through at this point.
French runner taken down, but went down with the Polish fighter.
Yeah. Well, the Polish being pushed back. That's a good takedown.
Fantastic use of that downed fighter.
So now, I think the Polish are on the back foot a little bit, although they do have some numbers. You can see still no clear breakaway. That Polish fighter attempting, but not any success. And a nice charge back, sending the French fighter to the ground. He almost lost his balance in that strike. Was a bit of a dangerous pile of bodies.
Yeah, there really is. And it's amazing this fight's gone on this long again.
Yeah.
Very equally matched opponents.
I can see this going to time, to be honest.
Oh, fantastic shield punch there.
Very nice. We may see a slight break here. The Polish, very much the aggressors bursting out through the French lines. However, they're still dominating that corner area. And now it's spread out.
Oh, fighters dropping left and right now.
Yep. That's good work from the Polish managing to get a teammate down there. However, that's 2 of them who go down at the same time. A very costly takedown. So the French now have all the numbers, and it is called.
Stop fight.
Goes the time. France win the round, and they advance to the semi-finals.
That hurt French fighter now is watching on from the list, so he must be okay.
Victory for France for the semi-final. Jedan veliki aplauz za reprezentaciju Francuske. And now, one big applause
Tense fight,
for
but
the team of Poland.
this comes out with the result for France.
I sada, ponovo na borilištu, svetski šampioni, reprezentacija Rusije. And now,
Yeah, very closely fought round for the majority of that, with France has taken the victory at the end with that great push.
Yeah,
Now we've got Russia
that was
lining up to enter the list.
and they will face UK in the first semi-final.
Interesting to see how the UK handle that Russian charge.
Yeah,
I did sit down and interview one of the Russian fighters who's here for the first time this year.
Yes.
He made the qualification to